Diablo 4's DLC, Vessle of Hatred, continues the story of where the base game of Diablo 4 left off, on the search for Neyrelle, who's trying to destroy the prime evil Mephisto. The entire goal in the base game was getting to Lilith to stop her, then finding out we needed to deal with her father. The DLC, while it's incredibly fun with an all-new class Spiritborn, as well as delivering more of the story to the player, it leaves us at the end still needing to take care of Mephisto since he isn't really gone. The end of the DLC provides an exciting cliffhanger that I have both a love-hate relationship with. What's going on, you guys? It's your huggable hipster here and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm going to be going over my review for Diablo 4 Vessle of Hatred. Going into this DLC, I wasn't sure what to expect with how the base game left off. The ending fight with Lilith was a cosmic storm of fury and wit that brought Lilith down to a more, well, human ending. Seeing my necromancer evolve throughout the game, seeing the twists and turns the story took was, in my opinion, some of the best narrative design I've seen in a game besides Death Stranding. Instead of utilizing my necromancer, I decided to try out the new Spiritborn class, and oh boy, if you like being obnoxious, this is the build for you. Everything just melted around me, and harnessing the power of the centipede was just delicious. The base game and the DLC carry religious nuance and sometimes just bluntly saying something very intensely more times than others. Gravitas and demanding nature of the story pulled me in, and the DLC, for, well, lack of a better term, edged me on. When I thought I had all the answers, I was thrown right back to square one. The DLC does a great job at blending the great narrative design with mystery and a sense of chaos that left me exhausted in a good way. Some of the boss battles were so intense and more so than the base game. For those of you who have played Vessle of Hatred, please comment down below and tell me your thoughts of the bosses because, oh my god, some of them were just, I sneezed and they went away. Others, it took me a solid like 5 to 10 tries just to get past. The one in particular was where you had to go through the final step of the trials and you had to get through all the ghosts and all of the ghosts of the people who you basically met in the base game. I'm still pretty much a noob whenever it comes to Diablo, so seeing all of the things that Diablo players would go, yep, nope, that's accurate. I'm over here like, what do I do? How do I go about breathing right now? The final boss with Mephisto, however, for me, felt a bit flat. Whether that's because Blizzard plans on making his true boss in another expansion or base game more like Lilith with really intense phases, or the boss in the DLC was really just that easy, I'm not sure. Personally, I think there's going to be another DLC, or Diablo 5's premise is going to be about stopping Mephisto. The player character still has a link to Lilith, and Neyrelle still has a link to Mephisto, so in my mind, it makes sense. Diving back into this game with the DLC felt natural. This is where I truly believe the narrative design shined. This game doesn't start off in a way that made me feel discombobulated, disconnected, or jolted in any way, shape, or form. The start of the DLC felt organic to how the base game left off. Seeing new characters that travel with us for the majority of the game, such as Rair and Eris, was a nice addition in the aiding of bosses and the story being told. Now, while his betrayal was a great addition to the story and what made things diverse in terms of pacing and not having characters being very one-dimensional, I felt this entire time the game was giving us bits and pieces of a story that will come to fruition in either another DLC or Diablo 5. Lorath's character was sorely missed, and I feel like he would have added even more depth to the continuation of the story. Now, this DLC isn't long by any means. It took me 58 hours to complete the base game, while taking me 17 hours to complete the DLC. There's a lot to do in this game, but for review purposes, I mainlined it, not doing much of anything else. Rair was a wonderful companion and mercenary, but I wish his character had more substance and more of a story in the DLC. Maybe there is, and I just need to do some more side quests for him, if there are any. Now, I do, however, have a pet peeve about this game. I'm not sure if it was this way in the other Diablo games, but it makes me slightly irritable, to put it over dramatically. During a chapter, if you are halfway through and for some reason you have to stop the game, you have to take care of errands, you're stopping because you need to go to sleep, or for any reason at all, you get taken back all the way to the beginning of the chapter if you stop midway through. Again, not the end of the world, but slightly irritating. The controls and how the game's maneuverability ran was beautiful after the first hour of the game. The first hour of the game was riddled with glitches, movement bugs, and places to click for the dialogue just disappearing or not registering. Now this wasn't a great start to the game, mind you, but luckily Lilith was on my side, and after turning the PS5 off, then rebooting it, the game worked like a dream. The story by a long shot is nowhere near ending, with the game closing on Mephisto rising from the damned in a pose similar to that of Jesus on the crucifix. It's clear that there's going to be a heavy message and story to be told in the next expansion or Diablo-based game. Now with the hiccups in how the DLC was constructed as more of a lead-up instead of a meteor experience, I had an incredible time with this DLC, and I'm looking forward to seeing what Blizzard has in store for us next. Mephisto will be, to put it bluntly, a pain in the ass to fight, and I couldn't be more excited to see how not only his character, but Neyrel's, Lorath's, and ours transform. But you guys, that was it for my review of Vessle of Hatred. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys like my face and what I do, please be sure to subscribe and hit that bell down below. May you find your worth in the waking world, dear hunter. Stay casually nerdy, and I will see you all in the next video. Umbasa.